Hackers leaked personal data of 1,000 Belarusian police on weekend of protests.
Here's a summary of the article.
3-minute read: Reuters. Anonymous hackers leaked the personal data of 1,000 Belarusian police officers in retaliation for a crackdown on street demonstrations against veteran President Alexander Lukashenko, as protesters geared up for another mass rally on Sunday. The government said it would fine and punish those responsible for leaking the data, which was widely distributed on Telegram channels on Saturday evening. The forces, means and technologies at the disposal of the internal affairs bodies make it possible to identify and prosecute the overwhelming majority of those guilty of leaking personal data on the Internet, said Olga Kimodanova, the spokeswoman for the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Security forces have detained thousands of people to tackle a wave of protests and strikes, their faces often obscured by masks, balaclavas or riot helmets. Some protesters have physically torn off the masks of some officers. The government said 390 women were detained for taking part in a protest on Saturday against Lukashenko. Lukashenko's crackdown on the protests has prompted the European Union to weigh fresh sanctions against his government.
This post received a score of 52,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Greater than, as the arrests continue, we will continue to publish data on a massive scale, said a statement that was distributed by the opposition news channel Next Alive on the messaging app Telegram. No one will remain anonymous even under a balaclava. Edit, a note on the rewards on this post. A significant number of them come from accounts with no post or comment history. Given the current climate, and the proliferation of awards on rising posts, I felt this was worth disclosing and would again request that Reddit offer some transparency as to where money is entering the reward economy on this site during the upcoming US election season.
People keep talking about how we can't blame these police officers for what their leader is doing, but honestly, did y'all forget we punished the officers who worked for Hitler? If you want to fight for a dictator, and especially if you're hurting people to do it, you deserve persecution. These police are torturing people, beating them, and they get to keep their anonymity? No, they have to be exposed for the crimes they are committing. We should know who's out there taking loved ones and returning them black and blue. Edit, historical inaccuracies.
Their anonymity is the only reason they are able to continue doing this. Imagine going to the local grocery store after everybody knows you're one of the brutalizers, suddenly you're not welcome by your own people. Expose them all. If these leakers leak the data via terminals at public computers and do not post to any accounts that can be tied to them in any way, they should be more or less safe from being identified. The government is bluffing as far as being able to identify everybody who leaks, assuming they are smart about how they go about leaking it.
This is why so many cops in the worst policed cities and towns of the US don't actually live in the communities they terrorize.
Any policeman who follows an obvious dictator under Russian influence instead of following the law and the will of the people may not be malevolent, but he certainly is a tool against democracy and should be treated as such.
And broken tools need to be reforged in fire between a hammer and an anvil. No way to do this gently.
That is a hell of an analogy.
I don't think he meant it as an analogy. I like your edge.
I don't think he's edgy. He seems well-rounded and tempered.
Point taken. Your method of casting it really hammered it home.
I'm smelting this thread.
What are the chances that those who are hiding behind a balaclava aren't even part of the police force and instead from a neighboring country?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.